presence of love is in this place. Good morning. Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place. All right, I release and I let go. Please stand as you are able and sing along with us. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit, only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I have a loud voice.
It's just finally got out.
Can I blow in it?
Hello, everybody. Now you can hear me without me screaming. Oh, what a beautiful day. Hey, we're into fall. What do you think? Yeah. Yes. Yes, that's true. Good morning to all of you out there virtually. It's a pleasure to have you here, and if you don't listen to us now, hopefully you'll hear us sometime during the week. And to all of you that are here, thank you very much. We welcome you and greet you in the warm and loving spirit of unity and recognition of our unity with all people and communities of faith throughout the world. In unity, we bless and embrace people of every race, culture, lifestyle, and creed. We honor and celebrate the many paths to God, the many names for God, and the many ways in which we experience God. We affirm there is only one presence and one power active in your life and mine, God, the good, omnipotent. Richard, would you like to do our daily word?
You know, when you take the mic, you've got to hold it gingerly so you don't press the wrong button somewhere. All right, well, let's see, there it is probably, hiding right there. I kind of like this one because it says, I'm here. I'm here. Are you here? Yes. All right. And I care. And that's why I'm here, actually. But, you know, here I am. Sometimes my heart goes out to a friend or even Really, even? A stranger who is struggling. Other times my heart breaks when I learn of another's devastating news. In those moments, I feel the urge to help. I pray, affirming healing, peace, or comfort. I may offer financial support or material goods. I might call on the phone or visit in person. Even so, I may feel my efforts are not enough, especially when needs are great. We have some, I'll say, friends in Morocco that are probably feeling great needs right now. But the impulse to care is in many people. The activity of God streaming through so many hearts and hands. As I join my efforts with theirs, I trust we can lift up even the most dire situation. I am a caring presence, ready to help, serve, and love. And from 1 Thessalonians 2:8, I believe this is Paul writing to his minions. So deeply do we care for you that we are determined to share with you not only the gospel of God, but also our own selves, because you have become very dear to us. So it is.
Thank you, Richard.
You're welcome.
That's beautiful. I remembered my glasses. That's a good thing. Okay, if this is your first Sunday with us, we welcome you. Anybody here for their first time? Okay, all old timers. Well, not exactly old timers, but although many of us are. Thank you to our guest speaker, James, and James Ashmore, and Andrew Ashmore, and his wife, Deirdre, who is going to do our meditation. So I'm excited for that. Thank you to Ireland and Ward. Thank you, Denise, for being our greeter. And thank you, Andrew and Ellen. We couldn't do this without you. Our prayer ministers are active and wish to support you in prayer. Send your requests to unitysv.org, or place your prayers in the prayer box over on the credenza. We pray with you for a month and then send your prayers to Silent Unity, where they are lovingly blessed in the Silent Unity prayer room for another month. And this next week, on the 14th of September, is the World Day of Prayer. And we have a sign-up sheet over there if you would like to sign up for an hour. This is something that you will do on your own, but we would like to fill the slots so that we can do the whole day. It's not any place. It's, the sign-up sheet is over on the credenza. Thanks, Betsy. She tricked me. Okay, so the sign-up sheet is over on the credenza, and it would be wonderful if you could sign up to devote an hour to prayer. Classes and special events with times and dates are on the back of your bulletin this morning and can be found here on our community boards. For more information on what's happening at Unity Skagit Valley, visit us at unitysv.org and sign up for our newsletter, your weekly dose of inspiration and resources. Thank you for being with us. Okay, Andrew Ashmore is a licensed Unity teacher, a native of the Pacific Northwest, and lives near LaConner with his wife, Reverend Deirdre Ashmore. Andrew loves the Unity message and is grateful for the time he spent taking classes while Deirdre attended ministerial school. He is also a graduate of the University of Washington with 2 degrees in engineering. A passion of Andrew's is peace, both individually and in the world. He is a longtime meditator and has been deeply influenced by the examples and writings of numerous spiritual teachers. His love of mountains has led him to hike and climb in the mountains of Tibet, Nepal, Mexico, Argentina, Alaska, along with climbing a number of peaks in the Cascades, Olympics, and Rocky Mountains. That's impressive. Okay. We're glad you're here, Andrew. Okay, I'm going to give you a quick update on Reverend Linda. It is no surprise that Reverend Linda has defied the odds, has crossed the threshold, and is well on her way to recovery. Much to we love you, Reverend Linda. Much to her surprise, they even gave her a couple days off from the clinic for good behavior. Good behavior, huh? Each day now is getting stronger, with a possible return home on September 21st. Thank you for all your continued love, support, and prayers. We are experiencing a miracle. Deirdre Ashmore is going to do our meditation. Is that right? Yes. Oh, okay. See, I knew there was something else. We're going to sing a meditation song first. Please excuse me.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer.
Let us now breathe easily and effortlessly, allowing the words of this lovely song to remind us that every thought becomes a prayer. It is in this place of sweet, sweet love that permeates the chairs we're sitting on, the floor that we ground our feet on and walk on, in the walls, in the ceiling, in every space and place in unity of Skagit Valley. We just allow the energy and the essence of love to support us, to flow through us. And so we soften into the gentleness of love. Breathing love in and exhaling love out. Breathe with me again, love in and exhaling love out. And one more time in, pure love, and exhaling, love. Love is all there is. It comes in many forms and many disguises. But in the midst of love is the Holy One, everywhere present, active as you, as each one of us, as me. And so we embrace our divinity. We allow ourselves to be called up higher into a unified field of awareness. Blessing all people around the planet. Blessing our world in the knowing that love is present. We send love to world leaders, to our fellow brothers and sisters. They are our brothers and sisters, our world leaders. And all the people, may their suffering be eased. May our suffering be eased. Remembering the one presence, one power, God, the good, active in our lives and in the universe. Let's rest in this knowing in a few moments of silence. Thank you, loving Spirit, for all the love that permeates this day. And we are looking forward and excited to see how love shows up. We send and beam love to Reverend Linda and know and are grateful for her continued ongoing healing into ever more love. And so we say thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. Amen.
hear you. La 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 la. La 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 la. Sing, sing a song. Let the world sing along. Sing of love there could be. Sing for you and for me. Sing, sing a song. Make it simple to last your whole life long. Don't worry that it's not good enough for anyone else to hear. Just sing, sing a song. Just sing, sing a song. Just sing, sing a song. I think we should do the la-las again. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. One more time. La 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 la. Just sing, sing a song.
Oh, thank you, Warden Ireland. That was great. Couldn't help but smile when you're going la 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 la, right? La 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 la. Looking out here, everybody was smiling. La 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 la. Well, good morning, Unity of. Yes, great to be here. Great to have you. Oh, thank you, and welcome to our online audience. It's great to have you with us too. So. Today, I want to revisit the Daily Word. I really appreciated Richard's reading of it. And I enjoyed it myself reading it this morning. Actually, I read it before too. I always like to look ahead and see, when I'm going to be speaking somewhere, what the Daily Word is for that day. And it actually fit in very well with the talk because it's about care. I am here and I care. And we've been subscribers to the Daily Word for many years. And I haven't done it for a while, but I used to always go through and underline everywhere where it had an I am, like an affirmation. So I'd have affirmations. I look for the affirmations in Daily Word. And then I'd earmark the page. And then we ended up having a whole box of Daily Words, which eventually one of our moves got, yes, exactly. So I am here and I care. But in the Daily Word it says, the impulse to care is in many people. The activity of God streaming through so many hearts and hands. As I join my efforts with theirs, I trust we can lift up even the most dire situation. And then the affirmation, I am a caring presence, ready to help, serve, and love. I am a caring presence, ready to help, serve, and love. Yeah, I was like, hold that in your heart. I'm a caring presence. But that's a beautiful affirmation. But it's important to know that, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? That's an old saying actually. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Mm-hmm. But there's a principle of caring. It's a way of being. It's our way of saying, I love you, or I care for you. And most of us believe in the importance of caring, of loving one another. The principle of caring, that being a way of being. Now, Ernest Holmes, who's a well-known spiritual leader, he wrote, all life is bound together by one common law of love. All life is bound together by one common law of love. But he also says, if we follow the law, it draws us closer together. But when we don't follow the law of love, we feel separate. So it's that following the law of love, it brings us closer together. And of course, the message in the Bible is, love one another, right? That's one of the messages. There's many messages, but love one another. Or the golden rule, care for others as you care for yourself, right? And that's in many other religions in the world. Most of them have some version of the golden rule. But we know that love and caring for each other is important, but what happens when the rubber meets the road? And what I mean by that is, some days in the past, not too often, but every once in a while, I've gotten off center, criticizing, condemning, judging. Sometimes when I'm watching the news, it's pretty easy to judge what's going on, right? But I want to be, being critical of the situation, or critical of what's happening out there in the world. But the trick is not to bring it into my world, into here. It's like, okay, it's out there, but how much peace is there in my world, right? I once heard a fellow speak, and he was talking about peace and peace in the world. And so I eventually asked him, I says, when are we going to have world peace? When is that going to happen? And he said, well, I have peace in my world. It's like, oh. It's not so much, so often we focus on what's out there, but it's like, what's going on inside, me, or inside my home, or my community? What am I bringing out there? And quite often, sometimes when people say no to me, I have almost to, say no, can't do that. I almost sometimes go into resistance and don't necessarily feel love in my heart. But there's other days when I feel relaxed, right? I've done my spiritual work, I've meditated, I'm upbeat, and then I feel more love in my heart, feel more expansive, more compassion. And the truth is, we all want to have love in our hearts, right? Want to feel loving towards everyone. Now, May Rowland, who was director of Silent Unity for many years at Unity Village, she has a lovely quote. It says, when your heart is filled with love, you will not be critical or irritable, but you will be divinely irresistible. Don't you love that? Yeah, when your heart is filled with love, you won't be critical or irritable, you'll be divinely irresistible. Wouldn't you like to be divinely irresistible? Yeah. So, but to have a caring heart, that's the key. And again, as Ernest Holmes, he said, we can sit in the shade or move into the sunshine. So the idea is, we can have a little cloud over our heads, or we can have, the light and love and joy of the universe, flowing through us. And Jim Rosemergy, a Unity minister, said, loving is a decision you must make. It's a decision we must make. And similarly, caring for others and yourself is a decision we must make. And caring for ourselves is important, isn't it? It's how easy it is to care for somebody else, to be out there if we're not caring for ourselves first, yes. So as we go through life, we're looking for examples, or at least I look for examples, but who are some examples out there of caring? Well, the first person who came to me was a caring person was Mother Teresa, isn't she? Mother Teresa, that caring, that givingness, working in India. Another person that came to me was my grandmother. Whenever I saw her, she was always almost like had a glow about her. And she was carrying, whenever I went to her house, she wanted to give me food, which I was very grateful for too. But she just seemed, just that essence, and I still carry, even the last time I saw her, just that kind of just beaming, joyful. But it was interesting because her background was in Christian Science. And so she'd grown up with a very similar understanding to unity in a sense. And that was common because the Fillmores, who were co-founders of Unity, they went to a lecture by E.B. Weeks, and I'm sure you've heard this story about, there was a Christian Science lecture that came to Kansas City, and what Myrtle heard out of the lecture was, I am a child of God and I do not inherit sickness. And so she, from a very early age, had what they called consumption back in those days, which was really tuberculosis. But what she did, she heard that, I'm a child of God and I do not inherit sickness. And she said, okay, I'm going to take that in and internalize it. And so she'd sit down and just bless and love all the organs in her body and just love on herself. And eventually she healed herself. And of course, Charles took notice. And later, but he said, I want to go to headquarters. And so he'd sit down and meditate and listen. But then, of course, what came out of that was unity. And they would pray for other people. It started out in their house in Kansas City, where they'd have the Society of Silent Unity, or friends, and they'd gather together and pray for one another. Then eventually became into the prayer ministry, where people they'd phone in too, but back in the day, and we're talking early 1900s, people would send letters into Silent Unity. And then Myrtle would write out letters and send them back. And always very affirming, but that affirming. But to me, Myrtle, that was the caring. She first cared for herself, but then the caring, how she was able to give that out to others. And then another example, we might turn to the Bible, right? In Jesus. He was caring, right? He certainly showed love and compassion. He healed people. And plus his parable of the Good Samaritan, right? There were others too. But I have another example I'd like to look at. It's from a relatively unknown gospel. And some of the characters in the gospel you may be familiar with, but it's the Gospel According to Peanuts by Robert Short. And most of the Gospels were written, say, 2,000 years ago in a language that is not our mother tongue, but this was actually written in 1964 in English, so we didn't have to translate it. And maybe you're familiar with it. Most of you are probably familiar with the comic strip Peanuts. And if you aren't, but I'll just rehash a few of the characters in the comic strip. And there was Lucy, and Lucy, she was a bit snarky at times, wouldn't you say? And she was, or bossy, might be another word. And then she had a little brother, Linus, who had his security blanket. He always carried he had his security blanket he carried around with him. And then there was Schroeder, who played the piano. And Lucy liked Schroeder, but Schroeder, all he could do was play the piano. He'd play these, Beethoven suites and all kinds of, intricate music. And he'd love that. And but then Linus, he'd go to he wanted to see the Great Pumpkin. So every Halloween they'd go to the pumpkin patch, and he actually would send letters to the Great Pumpkin asking for gifts, because he knew the Great Pumpkin would show up on Halloween and bring presents. And so every Halloween they were out there waiting for the Great Pumpkin. And of course, who never showed up. And of course, one time, they're out there, and all of a sudden, one of the other characters pops up unexpectedly, and that was Snoopy. And of course, there's Charlie Brown, who good grief, and he has had his Christmas specials on TV. But poor Charlie Brown, I don't want to say a tale of woe, but it seems to happen to him, right? It was like Lucy would inveigle him to, talk to him to play football. And so he'd come out and he'd be playing football. So she'd set the football down, and Charlie Brown would go running out and go to kick it. And just as he went to kick it, she'd pull the football away, and he'd go and fall flat on his back. So, but who I want to focus on is Snoopy, the beagle. He was a little beagle, but he could speak, or everybody spoke. There were thoughts coming out of him. Exactly, thoughts. And Robert Short, the author, calls him the Hound of Heaven. Right, the Hound of Heaven. And he says he hesitates to call Snoopy Christ. Instead, he calls him a little Christ, a Christian, because he has character traits like most of us. He says some are not so positive, as he can be mean and sarcastic at times. But on the score of positive traits, Charlie does very well. So there's a panel in one of the cartoons where Schroeder and Charlie Brown are talking to one another, and Snoopy comes walking up. And Snoopy, even though he's a dog, he can walk like people too. Yeah. Walks up. So he walks up and gives Schroeder a big hug. And Schroeder you see the cartoon bubble, a big question mark over his head, like, what's going on? He looks at Charlie Brown. And then Snoopy goes over and hugs Charlie Brown. And Charlie Brown says, he just loves us. About Snoopy. Snoopy was that way. And then another cartoon shows Charlie Brown. It's in wintertime. And so he's got his heavy coat on, his coat and his gloves, and he's got a hat and a muffler. And so he goes out and he gets out on a frozen pond. And so he's kind of shuffling along, and all of a sudden he slips and boom, he falls right on his back. And so he's sitting there, and you can see him wiggling, and he's saying, oh, I'm going to die, I'm going to freeze to death. What will happen? He says, I'm doomed. And then Snoopy comes walking out in the ice, and with his nose, he kind of pushes Charlie Brown off the ice to safety. So he had that good one. Snoopy cared. He had that caring. But Snoopy is also like Jesus, like the Christ, in the sense that he comforts the afflicted, but he also afflicts the comfortable. He does both. And so, Linus liked his security blanket. And so Snoopy, you'd see the cartoon of him running down and grabbing hold of the security blanket and then running away. And poor Linus was hanging on for dear life as they went running over hill and dale, along, bouncing up and down. And then finally, but he didn't get Linus hung on for good, so he didn't get it. But finally, Snoopy did get his comeuppance one day, because he comes running down, grabs the security blanket, but Linus has nailed it to the floor. And so, of course, Snoopy grabs it, boing, comes back quickly. But of course, Lucy got involved, and the security blanket, she saw it, and she told Linus, she says, that's stupid, and she's going to break him of that habit of having a security blanket. So she goes and buries it. And for 2 weeks, Linus is distraught. He has no security blanket. What's he going to do? So he's running around looking everywhere, for the security blanket. And he's actually got a shovel and is digging up because Lucy had said she buried it, and he's trying to find it. And of course, Snoopy comes to the rescue. And Snoopy, being a dog, he's able to, find it, dig it up, and brings it back. And so Linus says, he was so grateful, he says, you found it! And Snoopy says, every now and then I feel my existence is justified. So isn't that the way? So he was appreciated. And that reminds me of a fellow I worked with a number of years ago. And he was from the Midwest, and his father lived in the Midwest, and his father passed away, I think at the age of 90 or so. But the fellow I worked with went to the funeral, and his father had been a teacher. And what was amazing to him is all of these former students came up to him afterwards and said how much they appreciated his father and what he did for them as a teacher, and that they really felt that he'd, cared about them. And so that's, that caring. But now for Snoopy, other times his good intentions weren't recognized. So he went around licking everybody. Hugging was okay, but he was going around, licking everybody, licking him. And so they said, go away, stupid dog. Yuck. And he says, they all resent me because I'm so devoted. And we had a dog like that in a way. It was a dog, Max. He was a water spaniel, but he loved to lick. If your face got close enough to him, he wanted to lick. And so sometimes I'd play along and I'd get down and kind of pucker up and close my eyes and let him lick away. And he was happy doing that. And then, of course, afterwards I'd wash my face. But Max, he was a very exuberant dog, a very loving dog. Isn't that what dogs are? They have just a joy and a life. And we had a neighbor, his name was Brad, and he says, if I felt that good, I couldn't stand myself. So, and it actually reminds me of the first time I went to a Unity church. And I walked in, and all the people were smiling and happy. And it kind of tells me where I was at the time. But it's like, what have they been drinking? I wasn't ready for it. So eventually I made it to Unity through my wife. She got me there, but it took a while. But we do have a choice, and I know for me, I can be a grouch and resistant to receiving my good, or I can radiate that joy and love and caring. And Emily Cady, who is the author of the great Unity classic Lessons in Truth, gives us an image of a large reservoir. She says this large reservoir is, in essence, this is how it works is there's a big, large reservoir, and then we're like fountains. And so there's this large reservoir of water coming down, and we're fountains. And the reservoir is God. And there's like God energy coming down through the pipe, and our fountain can be as big as we want it. We can turn up the valve on the fountain as much as we want, and we can turn it down and close it. But how much, so the sense is, how big do we want our fountain to be? Because the reservoir is endless, right? But it's like letting that flow through us. And the question is, how big is our fountain and how clear is our water? Mm-hmm. Now, Snoopy quite often has his fountain wide open and is leaping for joy. He's so happy. And there's one panel where he's going around dancing. And so he's dancing around, having a really good time, just dancing away, dancing away. He's just going around, just dancing. Everybody's looking at him. And so Lucy, she shouts over, which is typical of her, and she says, floods, fire, famine. And Snoopy's just dancing away, dancing. He's just blissful, having a good time. And then she says, doom, despair, defeat. And Snoopy's dancing around, dancing around. And so finally she says, well, if you can't beat them, join them. And then you see her and Snoopy dancing off together. Right. Yeah. So if you can't, in a way, if you can't lick them, join them, right? Yeah. So, but that brings me to philosophy. Actually, it's attributed to Charles Schultz, the creator of Peanuts, called the Charles Schultz philosophy. And so it's a maybe you've heard it before, maybe not. It's a two-part quiz, in a sense. And you don't really have to, I mean, you can listen and answer the questions, but you're not going to be graded on the quiz. Okay? But just, listen, you'll get the point. So, question 1, name the 10 wealthiest people in the world. Okay. Name the last 5 Heisman Trophy winners, and that's the best football player, best collegiate football player in the country that year. Name the last 5 winners of the Miss America contest. And they still haven't, by the way. Yeah. Okay. So what about this? Name 10 people who have won the Nobel or Pulitzer Prize. Okay. Name the last half dozen Academy Award winners for Best Actor and Actress. Name the last decade's worth of World Series winners. How'd you do? So the point is, none of us remember the headliners of yesterday. These are no second-rate achievers. They are the best in their field, but the applause dies. Awards tarnish, achievements are forgotten. Accolades, certificates are buried with their owners. Now here's another quiz. Let's see how you do. List a few teachers who aided your journey through school. Name 3 friends who have helped you through a difficult time. Name 5 people who have taught you something worthwhile. Think of a few people who have made you feel appreciated and special. Think of 5 people you enjoy spending time with. Name a half dozen heroes whose stories have inspired you. Was that easier?
Yes.
Yes. And there's the lesson. The people who make a difference in your life are not the ones with the most credentials, the most money, or the most awards. They are the ones who care. So it's not so much, as we said before, how much people don't care how much you know, it's how much you care is important. And so our caring, our expression of love is what's important. Right? So to bring this to a close, I want to turn to author Leo Buscaglia, they called him Dr. Love. He was back in the 90s. It's been years ago, but he was a professor at USC. He wrote the book Love, among others. But he said, the majority of us lead quiet, unheralded lives as we pass through this world. There will most likely be no ticker tape parades for us, no monuments created in our honor, but that does not lessen our possible impact. For there are scores of people waiting for someone just like us to come along. People who appreciate our compassion, our unique talents. Someone who will live a happier life merely because we took the time to share what we had to give. Too often we underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest compliment, or the smallest act of caring, all of which have a potential to turn life around. It's overwhelming to consider the continuous opportunities there are to make our love felt. Which brings me back to the daily word for today, care. I'm a caring presence, ready to help, serve, and love. So I encourage you to take that with you this week. as you go about. And just let that resonate, that sense of caring, that feeling of caringness. And so God bless you and have a great week. Yeah. Sure.
That was delightful. Couldn't resist. Okay, so where am I? Okay, let's bless our offering. Did I do that right? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, you guys. We are grateful for your ongoing gifts and love offerings. You can offer your gift here in the sanctuary, make donations through unitysv.org, or donate by mail. We bless every single gift we receive with love and realization that as you give, the ministry continues to thrive, and what you have given returns to you multiplied, pressed down, and running over. Shall we say our blessing, our offering blessing? I give joyfully and easily, for God is my source, and abundance is my nature. Okay, it's time to bless our little people. Do we have little people here today? I think we do. Well, there's one right there. Okay. Our blessing. We have a little person over there. Yes, okay. Okay. Let's bless them all. Children of light, we love you, we bless you, and we appreciate you just the way you are. Okay, please join us in the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds you. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Okay. Shall we gather in a circle? And I hope everybody has a wonderful week.
Lord.